Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today it's the round of 16 elimination race from the final time that the NASCAR Cup Series will visit Auto Club Speedway. There's a playoff grid following the Charlotte Roval. Chase Elliott's fourth win on the season puts him in alongside Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson advances on points while we come in with a 46-point advantage, but William Byron enters 1 point below the cut line. Haley 12 out, Keselowski 25 out in his final season of Cup Series competition, and Austin Hill 30 points below the cut line. It's going to be an interesting one to see if Keselowski can maybe claw his way 25 points back and into the next round. He was out in the first round last season. Will he repeat that unfortunately in his final playoff run? Byron 1 point below the cut line after being in the top 10 in the regular season all season long. Now, this weekend it was announced to see a new scheme on Tyler Reddick's number 45 made by Paj Designs. My replacement announcement became official. Joe Gibbs announced Alex Bowman has been signed to drive this number 19 Toyota Camry going into next season, citing, well, of course, his success at Hendrick Motorsports. He got fired from Hendrick Motorsports in this career mode, went out with a win actually in the playoffs after missing the playoffs, went and won a race at Colleague straight up as well to follow his demotion from Hendrick Motorsports, has proceeded to come to Richard Childress Racing, where we thought this might be his long-term future for the foreseeable future of this career mode, and he's had some outstanding runs. He's been the best driver at RCR. It's been a rough season for Richard Childress Racing with that new Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon leadership, but they continue to work hard to turn things around. It hasn't quite gone as they expected, but Bowman has certainly been the leader of that team and has had a few outstanding runs. Meanwhile, his teammates have not, even though Austin Hill does have a victory, but it was at a super speedway. Another thing that's helped Bowman secure this number 19 for next season, sponsorship. Ally will be sponsoring him over there at Joe Gibbs Racing, and one of the reasons that we were only offered a one-year deal and things didn't quite work out ourselves is because of a lack of sponsorship with Topgolf pulling out at the end of this season. So, things have worked out for Bowman. He gets a second chance with a big team. I'm excited to see how he does because I believe that he is well deserving of a top tier ride in real life and in this career mode. I think he's proven it at times as well, winning in Colleague machinery, which we were able to do, of course, and that's why we got a ride right here. So Bowman does what I do. Win at Colleague, end up eventually at Joe Gibbs Racing, but he had another team in between. Qualifying, we go 17th with a 39.792 with the plus 40-point advantage. I'm not too concerned about this weekend. Coming in here pretty chill. Part-time Timmy Hill, Parker Kligerman in the field for Richard Childress Racing as Ross Chastain goes pole position over Elliott and Bell. Blaney Keselowski P5, Rajah Caruth P6. He was so close to his first win last time out in the Charlotte Red Course as Zane Smith ends up on the very end of the top 10. Gibbs down in 20th. It's been a rough round so far for him. Logano 29th. Is that a sign of a bad race on the way for him? We'll have to wait and see. At the bottom of the grid, however, it's Austin Cindric for Meyershank Racing. And we did have the first race of the Xfinity Series playoffs this weekend. They joined the Cup Series from Auto Club, and it was Justin Allgaier winning over Anthony Alfredo, Sheldon Creed, Brad Perez, and Brandon Jones in the top 5. That puts Allgaier at 2 wins and into the next round. The way the Xfinity playoffs work, it's 3-3-3. 3 races, 3 race final, 4 with 12 drivers, 4 eliminated, of course, each round, as you now see the playoff grid on your screen. Caden Honeycutt, Andres Perez, Carson Kvapil, and Sam Mayer, after their rough days to start the playoffs, all below the cut line going forward. They have to run down Suarez and Haley Deegan, as we now focus in Sunday afternoon on the first elimination race of the Cup Series.
It all comes down to this. 4 drivers trying to fight their way back into the playoffs, including soon to retire Brad Keselowski. Can he make up over 20 points to advance today?
He looks fast this weekend, Lee. It will be hard to advance, but I don't think it will be impossible. Brad can still pull this off.
No pressure today, team. Just stay cool and stay on top of things.
Yeah, 10-4. Should be able to cruise into the next round. Just, yeah, like you said, James, stay on top of it. It all comes down to this. 4 drivers will be eliminated today, and we will go from 16 drivers down to 12. We will have live playoff updates at the end of both stages today as we get ready to take the green flag. The green flag is out. Ross Chastain leads the field to green. Now he comes in, not in a safe position. Currently, he is going to be in need of a good day. Last episode, Charlotte Road Course, we saw Shane Van Gisbergen step up. He entered below the cut line, comes out well above the cut line, 17-point advantage. I think maybe the big surprise of this playoff round is maybe Kyle Larson. After winning the regular season championship, having an unbelievable record, of course 5 wins coming into the playoffs, he finished 6th in Chicagoland, which is a great run for the average driver, but for Kyle Larson, 6th place just really wasn't up to his standard, and he went into the Charlotte Road Course and finished outside of the top 10, was not a threat all day long. A very surprising day for Larson, 4 wide in the background there, and that's actually Corey Heim that just got forced into the wall. Speaking of Kyle Larson, he got his teammate in the 48 here, Rajah Caruth, who had a great day in the Charlotte Roval, won stage 1 and 2, ended up, of course, coming up short. It was Chase Elliott who took over and won that race over Caruth, who ended up P2, as got Caruth, SVG right here side by side on our nose as we head down into turn number 3. Zane Smith all the way to the outside, expecting to hear him maybe being announced to Penske Racing imminently within the next episode or 2. It's pretty well the worst kept secret in the garage, so do expect that to become official. Here comes Ty Gibbs and the number 54, and he was moving, and he's going to need to be moving, of course, if he wants to find himself in a really comfortable position to advance. Going backwards early in this race, Todd Gilliland, Larson again, Kyle Larson backing up here as we head down into turn 3. What's gone wrong with the 5 team as we've started the playoffs? Fortunately, Larson's picked up so many playoff points. He's already locked himself into the round of 12. He has nothing to worry about today, but he finds himself 4 wide in the middle right now. Shane Van Gisbergen, Noah Gregson, William Byron as well, and another driver going backwards, the 24 of William Byron. He comes into this race 1 point below the cut line. He cannot afford to be outside the top 10 in the stages. Unfortunately, that's the position he finds himself in right now, and same for Kyle Larson, but a total different season situation for that 5 team here now. As we come to lap 5 of only 22, we have worked our way into the top 10, and Kyle Busch has gone to the lead of this race in this number 99 Trackhouse Honda. As we go around the outside of our future teammate in the 88 there of Noah Gregson, will take over 9th place. Following through with SVG, Chase Elliott, you got Ty Gibbs there continuing to move forward, as well another driver that's really been carving his way through the field, Joey Logano, who qualified 29th, is on a charge right now, so pay attention to Logano as we go throughout this race. Look at Gibbs forcing it 3 wide on Chastain, your pole winner, down to the about 5th, 6th position. He battles side by side with Brad Keselowski. Keselowski 25 points below with 1 race left in this round, his final season. He wants to continue in the playoffs, but will it happen? He's going to need some help. He can run top 10 both stages, he could finish top 10, but he's still probably going to need a bit of assistance if he wants to advance. Another driver that we haven't really talked about a whole lot, Chris Buescher, of course, is right now the first driver above the cut line if Kyle Busch goes on to win this stage like he's on track to do currently. So Chris Buescher not safe at all as we continue to work our way forward. Though we pass Chastain and find ourselves, around the Trackhouse situation. We got the Hendrick car of Chase Elliott on our outside, of course RFK with Keselowski P5, but we clear Chase Elliott on the exit of turn 2, and now we're going to try and put some pressure on that Miller Lite Ford Mustang of Brad Keselowski as we start lap 10 of 22, diving down to the inside. Up ahead you see Busch, Gibbs, Bell, as well as Blaney all in front of us, but into the top 5 we go. We have got some speed here in the final ever Cup Series race in California for the time being. I want to win this final race before, of course, this comes off the calendar. We'll be going to Denver Speedway. Crash in the back. It's Alex Bowman for Richard Childress Racing, who crashes into turn 3, overcorrects after a tire failure, head on into the outside wall. His day will not be over, and everybody will come into the pits here. We'll get fuel, we'll get tires as well. I am not making any adjustments to the car. We just drove from 17th to 5th and now up to 4th on the pit stop. And now we get ready to go from row 2 for a restart. Alex Bowman brings out caution number 1, fresh off the news. He'll replace me at Joe Gibbs Racing next season. As you guys know, we're heading to Junior Motorsports and cannot wait for the actual primary target paint scheme reveal for you guys to see, because it looks absolutely incredible. Kyle Busch leads the way through 1 and 2 now, and he's going to try and get away as soon as he possibly can, as here comes Chase Elliott again up by inside, and Chase Elliott's had a very superb first round of this playoff. Christopher Bell as well, of course. Those are the 2 winners so far, but Chase Elliott again, you got to watch out for the one-time champion of the Cup Series, of course, the 2020 Cup Series champion. He's made the Final Four a couple of times here in our career mode, but hasn't been able to execute in that final race. I think Elliott is a driver like Larson, where those two can be the ones that really execute on a Final Four, 3-race Final Four that we now have with this new playoff format that NASCAR introduced this season, where the consistency is going to win the championship in the final round, not winning one race. Now, and here comes Joey Logano into the mix. We talked about him earlier. He's charging his way forward. Unbelievable turnaround. Who would have thought, 15 episodes ago, 10 episodes ago, that Joey Logano would be in the playoffs, let alone cruising through the round of 16. He is well above the cut line coming into this race, but we dropped down from 4th to 9th in just a few laps here after the restart. 7 laps to go in the stage. We'll go back to the inside. SVG just in front of us again. He's doing exactly what he needs to be doing. Gibbs again aggressive in front of us. You can see him force it 3 wide on Rajan Carruth, who's having again another great run at the site where Jimmy Johnson in the number 48 picked up his first win. Auto Club Speedway. Could Carruth do the same thing in his rookie season in the final race at Auto Club Speedway here now, as we find ourselves fighting up the inside with Joey Logano down into turn 1, and we would continue all the way into turn 3 as Ryan Blaney actually took the lead from Kyle Busch, who dropped down to P3, and we continue in this fight. Carruth going backwards, positions are shuffling back and forth. Everyone is so close right here together and on top of each other. How about Chase Briscoe, who's joining the mix now as well with Kozlowski, his boss man there, as Briscoe has had a great start to the playoffs, finds himself in a fairly comfortable spot as well to advance into the round of 16, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing right now throughout the rest of this race. Now Ty Gibbs to the lead as we continue to fight with SVG, with Logano, the Briscoes, Kozlowski, Bell, and Elliott as well. This race is everything you want from a NASCAR race. I mean, multi-groove racing, back and forth position shuffling. The leaders can't maintain the lead for more than a few laps time because there's just a few cars that are all really strong and capable of leading this race. This is a great NASCAR race, and it's at the last time we come to this track as we continue to fight now with Elliott, as we were able to clear Shane Van Gisbergen, but now washing up the track out of 4. Here comes that Auto Trader Ford Mustang. Joey Logano to the inside. We're 3 wide middle as we cross the stripe. 3 laps to go on the stage. Elliott now still on my outside as Logano clears us in. Actually a bit of contact on the door of the 98 into turn 1 as he slid up the inside. Moves us up the track. And here comes Elliott to cross us over. We drop down to P8 as we head down this back straightaway. We maintain alongside into turn 3 but couldn't quite keep the pace. And now here comes SVG. We drop back down to P9. Gibbs leads the way. Kyle Busch trying to take that stage win from him here as we cross the stripe. 2 to go in the stage, right on the back of that 97. And as we head down this back straightaway, SVG to the inside of the 9 now. Who am I going to go with? I'm going to go with the 97. A big shot to the back of SVG to push him down into turn number 3 on the inside of Elliott. Shane Van Gisbergen slides, saves it off the front bumper of myself as we now send him tumbling outside of the top 10. That was obviously not my intention. Please make sure he knows that. I was just trying to help him.
I'll let his spotter know right now.
I'll repay him the first chance I get. That is not what I wanted to do. So, we might have just royally screwed over Shane Van Gisbergen if things don't play out the way he would like it to. Hopefully, that's maybe a move that doesn't get him eliminated today. As a big Shane Van Gisbergen fan myself, that would really suck. But yeah, I mean, not what I wanted to do. We've had a history this season and throughout our career of running into people and causing moments like that, but that's not a moment I want to be, of course, doing and be a part of, as Ty Gibbs, though, comes through to win stage 1 over Kyle Busch. Logano, Blaney, Penske 3rd and 4th as we're going to cross the stripe only for P10. Bubba Wallace and his 2311 teammate Tyler Reddick right there, P11, P12. Their other teammate Corey Heim a little bit further down the order. Larson outside the top 10, and same for William Byron. We're coming into the pits, but commentators talking about us a little bit after the stage.
At some point, he's got to stop playing the nice guy with how much he uses up other drivers. I guarantee you, if he just embraces his aggression, he will win a lot more races.
And that was Steve Letard's words on myself up in the booth as we get ready for stage number 2. Rajan Carruth, Chase Elliott just in front of us here now. Stage 2 underway, and we'll look at the live playoff grid following stage number 1. You see the overlay, and right now it's William Byron 6 points below Chris Buescher. Kyle Busch had a great stage. He puts himself 10 points above the cut line. He's doing what he needs to do. Chastain and SVG, Trackhouse all right there together, 13 and 17 points above. They're at least, double digits, but anything can happen. Byron out by 6, Haley out by 17. Keselowski ends up losing a point, actually. 26 points below the cut line. Even inside the top 10 in the stage, he still loses ground. And Hill out by 35 points. So Keselowski pretty well gonna have to win, or he's going to need some kind of miracle. Never say never. Anything can happen here now as we would continue trying to claw our way forward here. Lap 4 of 19 in the stage, and Joey Logano was battling for the lead, but Kyle Busch to the point here. Ty Gibbs has dropped some positions early on, and I was noticing a trend with 2 specific cars very early here in stage 2 that carried over from stage 1 to now, and that is quite simple. Kyle Busch's car fires off and is really, really strong for about the first 3/4 of that first stage, and then Ty Gibbs just got better and better as the run went on, and he was able to get the lead and win the stage right by the end. Well, we see that again. Gibbs has dropped back a little bit. Kyle Busch has fired off well, although he's battling for the lead right now with Joey Logano, but as we come to lap 7, look at that red car up there. That's Ty Gibbs starting to go forward again, so that was proving my exact thoughts correct. As that run goes on, Gibbs is getting stronger. Busch starts to fade a little bit. They're going to eventually, of course, overlap, and then Gibbs will take over. So it could be a Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs, of course, head-to-head duel for the win here today in Auto Club now. And there's Rajan Carruth in that 48 again, going forward into the top 5 as I find myself side by side with the number 12 of Ryan Blaney. Crash at the back. Austin Hill goes around, crashes into the outside wall, and that's going to bring out the caution here at a similar time frame to what we saw in stage 1 as well with Alex Bowman's crash. So this is going to bring everybody again into the pits for 4 tires and fuel as well. We gain a spot over Ryan Blaney, so we're now row 3 outside. It's going to be Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, that front row, Gibbs and Briscoe. Row 2 behind us, you got Blaney, you got Bell as well, and that number 20 Yahoo Toyota Camry is Christopher Bell, now a championship contender. Going into the round of 12, of course, anything can happen like we always say, so you just never know. As Kyle Busch clears the 22, and he's free to try and run away with less than 10 laps to go in stage number 2. Keselowski knows he needs to find stage points. It's not over. It's not going to be easy, but it's not over for Keselowski. Can he find a way? He's looking for the stage points here in stage 2. As Blaney goes forward, we go backwards. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen. Kyle Busch went all the way to the outside and gave up the lead to Ty Gibbs, who slips through. He was able to pass the 22 and the 99. New leader again, Ty Gibbs, and here comes SVG, lap 13. 3 wide in the middle. We find ourselves, and this is exactly where we're just going to let the 97 roll through. So we're going to back out of it here going into turn 3. Shane Van Gisbergen, have at it. See you later. I owe you one for, of course, what I did earlier now. And here comes my teammate. How about Chandler Smith out of nowhere? What a run for our teammate in the 18 who missed the playoffs. It's been a miserable season. His second season as a full-time driver. He had a great season, actually, with colleague and got the call up to Joe Gibbs Racing. And he's pretty well run the same as he has a colleague engine failure potentially there for the 9. Chase Elliott pouring out of the back of that car with smoke, and the caution flies again, and that will bring him into the pits, but it was not a race-ending failure. They will get that car fixed under caution. Whatever the issue was, it was resolved under yellow. He will just be restarting from the back. and that is why drivers are thankful that they can win a race and move on to the next round. But that is not really too much of a concern, as Elliott does continue after his Charlotte Roval win as well here today after an engine failure. We go back racing. It's only 2 laps to go in stage 2. We are now down in P10, and very similar to stage 1. We fell down the order after that caution came out now, and then Larson is going to force a 3 wide now up the middle briefly, and now we're just 2 wide again, but we're down outside of the top 10, and same for Shane Van Gisbergen. No, he holds P10 as we head down this back straightaway, but not by much. Ty Gibbs leads the way. He's looking to sweep the first 2 stages. Stage 1 was Ty Gibbs' first stage win all season long, the defending champion. 2 wins on this season. It took him almost the entire regular season to find victory lane, but it seems like the defending champion, who's been questioned a lot with his authenticity of a Cup Series championship after the way he won it last season, it really does look like he's getting hot at the right time. He might be on track to become a 2-time Cup champion, and consecutively. It's been a long time since we've seen a consecutive champion, of course, since Jimmy Johnson, of course, all the way back from 2006 through 2010. As we head down this backstretch for the final time in the stage, we steal that 1 point from SVG going into turn 3, and it's Gibbs leading the way through 3 and 4. Briscoe up the track. We're going to try and slip up the inside and steal a point. It's going to be close. We're not having quite enough momentum. Gibbs wins stage 1 and 2. Keselowski getting some stage points as well. Pay attention to that. Is it going to be enough, though? We will look at the playoff grid in just a moment. Logano P2, Carruth in 3rd. He continues to be the best non-playoff driver when things aren't going wrong like they were in Chicago. But how about Rajan Carruth? Actually, speaking of things going wrong, he just lost 9 spots in the pits, and Kyle Busch actually lost even more. Busch, not even in the top 10 conversation. He lost a bunch of positions, and that's going to change things up, and you can see him just in the background. We are P9 with 23 laps to go in this 3rd and final stage, which is now underway, and the playoff situation is now upon us. Austin Hill, he's got to win his way in. Keselowski starts stage 3, 20 points below the cut line. He's just gained 6 points on the cut line. It's not over. 17 points for Justin Haley. Him and Keselowski, they need help. Keselowski's running great, but it depends on what William Byron does, who's still 6 points below the cut line. Chris Buescher, 6 points above. Kyle Busch is tied with his Trackhouse teammate Ross Chastain, who's having another rough day. 13 points above the cut line for both of those guys. SVG 17 points above. He's got a lot less to worry about right now compared to a Chris Buescher and maybe a Kyle Busch and Chastain, but Busch has arguably the fastest car here today, although Ty Gibbs has won both stages at 99. I think if things just work out, he's going to win this race, honestly, as we clear Chase Briscoe, who's done a lot of work here throughout this race to put himself in a good position. He's over 20 points above the cut line now as we head down into turn 3. For us, I mean, we are just cruising, of course, our way through into this round of 12 at this point. Same for Joey Logano, same for Ryan Blaney as well, as we clear the 22, and we are going forward in this final stage. In the background, I see Kyle Busch trying to work his way forward now as Keselowski's into the conversation up front. Here comes Logano, though, back up my inside. Keselowski to the lead, clear of Ty Gibbs. Keselowski, his final season, is doing what he needs to do, but it was very temporary. He went to the outside and lost the lead immediately. Here comes Ryan Blaney and Gibbs. They're 3 wide for the lead. Logano joining the mix as the positions continue to shuffle around, and it was again Blaney to the lead and Logano following through a few moments later. But here comes Kyle Busch. He's up into P8. He's continuing to go forwards. And as we head down into turn number 3, I can confirm now as we roll through 1 and 2, I can't show you exactly where everybody's running, of course, with the 24 and the 17, but basically what I can tell you is Byron and Buescher are separated by about a point or 2 as the positions shuffle around, and Keselowski is running approximately 15, 16 positions better than both of them right now. They're both hovered around 19th, 20th as I was editing the replays and found that. So Keselowski right now is approximately 4 to 5 points below the cut line. maybe make that 5 to 6, as I am now working on passing him through 1 and 2. I'm going to try and edit in where drivers are running a little bit better in stage 3 specifically going into the next round, as I didn't think about it, but I realized I can do that with the replay cameras now. So stay tuned in the round of 12 where that should be present. Now, as we are into the top 5, Kyle Busch continuing to try and claw his way forward. It's Logano and Gibbs now, the 2-car breakaway up front, first and second. They are going to go back and forth continuously. Briscoe into 3rd, Blaney 4th, myself in P5, and we're continuing to try and work on passing these guys as well. All the way to the inside, we'll clear the 12, we'll get right alongside the 98 Mahindra tractors. Ford Mustang down the back stretch, but not enough to clear him, so we slide back in between the 98 and 12, and now down to P4 as we follow him through 3 and 4. Logano and Gibbs continue to scrap it out for the lead side by side as we try to trail that 98. Hard crash as Kyle Busch blows a tire, and it might be the end of his playoff. Kyle Busch's day is over. Unbelievable. One of the fastest cars, he's done everything right. And it doesn't matter because sometimes things go wrong that's out of your control. And Kyle Busch with a huge hit is done. It might be the end for Busch and the 99, and that might be exactly what a guy like Brad Keselowski needs going into these closing laps. How is this going to shake out? The end of the road for Kyle Busch. That is absolutely heartbreaking. He comes into the stage 13 points above the cut line. It's not impossible for him to advance. He needs the 17 and the 24 both to have a rough finish here, and he could advance, but I don't know how that's going to work out. As we go down into turn 1, it's lap 60 of 70, coming to 10 to go, one more time around, but this puts William Byron now, after being the whole round 1 point below basically at the end of both races on the cut line. Well, Byron now projects himself up above the cut line, and now it's Keselowski that's going to be the highest running below the cut line, trying to work his way forward. 3 wide for the lead. It's Briscoe on the inside of Gibbs and Logano. To the lead goes Briscoe. We've seen plenty of 3 wide racing here today, all throughout the grid. For the lead, midfield, of course, it doesn't matter where it is. There's a lot of 3 wide here with 10 laps to go. Here comes SVG. Keselowski following just behind as Briscoe will clear the 54, and we're going to try and join the conversation for the front runners. On the inside of Logano as Gibbs trumps his nose, but unfortunately not enough speed right there. Will tuck back in line and maintain 4th position for the time being. Now to the inside as Gibbs again, he runs the middle, now drops out to the inside, but Logano's all the way on the outside wall. We clear the 22, he's now alongside SVG. Keselowski joining the mix again, and Keselowski's going to get past SVG and maybe Logano as well, as it might be a 3-car breakaway up front. Can Logano fight back? Keselowski through into 4th. Is that enough to advance himself into the next round with the things that have suddenly materialized for him, with Kyle Busch being out of the race? Of course, a former rival of his now might be exactly what he needs to get into the next round. His former rival having a case of horrific luck. It's not been a great tenure at Trackhouse for Kyle Busch, of course, and it looks like it's going to be an early end of the playoffs after missing the playoffs last season with Trackhouse, and a winless season it was. 2 wins this season in race 2 and 3, hasn't won since. Logano's clawing his way back forward as we're engaged with battle with the 54 and the 98. Can we clear Gibbs through 3? The answer is absolutely, and Logano fights back in that 22. He's looking for his 3rd win of the season. 2 wins on the season for Logano. They've both come under caution, by the way, and here he comes fighting back. Gibbs continued to run the outside, and now he's under pressure from Keselowski, who's fighting for every point imaginable because you just don't know what the situation is. Coming to 5 laps to go, the intensity, you can feel the intensity is high as we roll through 3. Logano got clear of me, and now he looks to fight to the inside of the 98. Now down this front straightaway across the stripe, Keselowski P4 as we start lap 67. Logano clear and running away from Briscoe and myself. In the background, Gibbs trying to fight back, and Ryan Blaney as well. They've both been stronger than Keselowski all day, but Keselowski wants the points as now Gibbs to his inside of my mirror. In front of us though, it's Briscoe to the inside of Logano. Arguably one of the best races in the career mode so far. This has been absolutely fantastic, and 3 laps now are left to settle who will win the final race at Auto Club Speedway. We find ourselves in position to do exactly that, win this final race. We've never been in position to win at Auto Club, and now we're in it. We'll clear Logano on the exit of turn 2, and now into P2, and Gibbs to follow into 3rd. As we approach 2 laps to go, Keselowski's dropped a few more spots. That might be what puts him out. As we continue with 2 to go to the back of the 98, we'll dive to the inside. Briscoe is going to try and pin us down. No, he'll leave us considerable room as we're right on his door, throttling up on the exit of 2. Here comes this first 2-stage winner. Here comes Ty Gibbs down to the inside, 3 wide for the lead, and Briscoe gets clear. We try to side draft the 54. Not enough. He breezes past me. Logano in the mix as well. Don't rule him out in that 22. What can Keselowski do in these final moments? Ryan Blaney is well in 5th as we exit turn 4. Just behind us. No, it's Keselowski actually in our mirror. That's moved up to P5. Ryan Blaney in P6. 1 lap to go. Gibbs leads. We push the 98 down towards turn number 1 on this final lap in the history of Auto Club Speedway, and now Gibbs has the pressure from Briscoe. We slide up the racetrack, throttling up just a little bit too soon. Logano to the inside now as we head 2 by 2 on this final lap down the back straightaway. Briscoe inside, Gibbs out. Down into turn 3, Briscoe looks for win 2. He enters in front of the 54. Here comes Logano as well. Who's going to get here first as we exit turn 4? We have the run, a bit of a bobble. We'll take it 3 wide. We're not going to be the winner. It's going to be one guy. It's Chase Briscoe winning in Auto Club over Logano. Gibbs and myself, what a finish. What a race. It sucks that it couldn't be us. But my goodness, that was an unbelievable start to finish race and one incredible finish. You'll see the finishing order on the screen. How about Chandler Smith up to P7, Keselowski 5th over Blaney there, SVG in P9, he well advanced into the next round. Larson in 13th, Carruth dropped down to 14th, surprising after running top 10 all day. He fell off in the end. Byron 18th, and Chris Buescher would be 22nd. The big question was those two, and it will be in both of them. It will be both of them actually advancing into the round of 12. As you see the rest of the finishing order, we'll take a look at the playoff grid and look at how close Brad Keselowski got, with Kyle Busch going out and him running so much better than the 24 and the 17. He got within 1 point, but he's out. Keselowski misses the round of 12 in his final season by 1 single point. Kyle Busch out by 5. Haley ran like garbage in the Roval and today, and it's really been a rough season for him. You have to wonder about his future at RFK. He will be half of the team that goes out alongside his boss, but Byron Buescher end up making it. Byron by 1 single point. Wow, what a first round of the playoffs, and we're just getting started. The round of 12 kicks off next episode, and it'll be an all-new looking grid with the playoff points readjusted. It's going to be an interesting one as it continues to get closer. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.